Alright, here we are in Palm Springs Desert Memorial Cemetery, and there are a few notable names here that we're about to go check out. One of them I'm actually very excited about. Big hero of mine. Studied the same thing I did. He was a big idol, especially when I was going to school. Let's go see these guys. Alright, well, we found our first item of business today. It's pretty cool to be here, actually. But here we are, a legend of Hollywood and music. Right here. It's a fun resting place of Salvatore Philips, Sonny Bono. So it's interesting that he's buried here because he's actually from Detroit. Of course, everybody who wants to be in show business comes to LA. But let's see, he first started getting into the business by being a songwriter. He was actually employed by Phil Spector for a little while, which is pretty cool. It's a big name in the business to be associated with. He wrote a lot of famous songs, like it says on his tombstone, The Beat Goes On, one of his more famous songs. He got into TV, into acting. He was even in some episodes of Scooby-Doo, which of course you all know is my favorite. He eventually moved to Palm Springs, and he actually tried to open up a restaurant here. You know, a lot of entertainment people do that when they're done acting or doing music, so he tried to open up a restaurant here. But there was a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy he did not like. So that persuaded him to actually run for mayor of the city of Palm Springs. The city, he was mayor from 1988 to 1992, and after that, in 1994, he even ran for Congress. He was a member of the 44th Congress. I believe that's the only year he did it. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But now he's here after all that. He was actually a very favored politician. A lot of people like the stuff he did. He was more of the people's politician, which is always good to hear. They actually have the Palm Spring Film Fest, which he started, but they actually have it in his memory every year out here. There's a film festival. You know, the Sonny Bono Palm Springs Film Festival. Died in a very terrible way, actually. He was in a skiing accident in Tahoe, State Line, Nevada, Heavenly Valley ski area. He hit a tree, and it killed him, actually. He was brought here to Palm Springs, where he had so many great memories, where he was very favored, and now, here he is. For everybody to see forever. And for you, the beat will go on. We will carry that torch. Rest in peace. Well, we found our next one. This one's exciting for probably most people, especially Americans, but even all over the world. This guy is actually one of the founders of one of the most popular restaurants in the world. They probably, stop me if I'm wrong, but they probably have the most locations in the world. They're definitely probably one of the most. I personally do not eat their food anymore. But I did as a child, and I know many of you still do. Many of you probably still eat that, you know, multiple times a week. But here we have come to see Mr. If you can see here. Let's get in there. This is Maurice J. McDonald, also known as Mac McDonald. Let's see, Mac McDonald and his brother opened up, oh God, what's his brother's name? His brother, Richard Dick James McDonald. Well, Richard James Dick McDonald. Let's see, was his brother. They opened up a hot dog stand in Pasadena in 1937. They did not serve hot dogs, or excuse me, they did not serve hamburgers. They only served hot dogs. Now, they didn't open up a hamburger stand until 1940. And and that was in San Bernardino, and that was the first McDonald's Brothers hamburger restaurant. Now there's a movie coming out that's probably going to divulge all this information that I had to look up. I think that movie's out already though. But anyways, yeah, it's they partnered with Ray Kroc in 1954. In 1961, he cut ties with them completely. He quote unquote bought them out. He was a savvy businessman and not really too interested in keeping good relations with the brothers. So on November 30th, 1984, McDonald's served their 50 billionth hamburger patty. They actually had Dick go to that McDonald's where they served it, and he was the one who grilled it. He's the very first person to cook a McDonald's patty, and he was the one who served the 50 billionth patty, which is something that he was able to do that. His brother had passed at the time, unfortunately, Mac, who undoubtedly the Big Mac was named after. But anyways, here he lies. I mean, this is one of the most popular restaurant chains in the world, you know. Everybody, the logo has a name. The Golden Arches has a name. You know, not a lot of companies can say they have a name for their logo. That's impressive. Anyways, here he lies. Maurice, James, bear with me. Maurice, James, McDonald has brought us a lot of food to a lot of people, a lot of smiles. You know, they always have those signs out there that say over, 50 billion served, and they're not joking. But here he is, Palm Springs, California, near the site of his first restaurant. Looking for it. Should be right here. Now, the one I'm really excited to come to see, I have found. There was actually a tourist group here looking at it, so I had to go find the other two first. I really wanted to see this one first, but here I am. I found it. And before we look at this one, actually, I just want to see if maybe we can figure out who it is. But looking at his family, right here, 1893 to 69. This is his father. His mother, right here. And the man, the myth, the legend, Old Blue Eyes, the chairman of the board, Mr. Francis Albert Frank Sinatra. Here to us forever in Palm Springs. As we all know, Frank is actually from New York City, but here he is in Palm Springs to be buried with his family. Let's see, I believe he started recording in 1943 with, I want to say, Columbia. He had a very great career with them. He played with bands like Tommy Dorsey, some big bands. He finally got his own solo career, which, he traveled around New York for a while. That eventually took him to Las Vegas, where, he's really known for being out there in Las Vegas. Vegas is also where he became a member of the Rat Pack with Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., who else? Bing Crosby. Does he count? Maybe. He actually started acting after that. He's best known for doing From Here to Eternity, Manchurian Candidate. My favorite is probably got to be Rob and the Seven Hoods. You either got or you haven't got style. I'm not sure if he ever won any awards for acting, but he won 11 Grammys. He actually gave up. He had a short retirement from 71 to 73, but he's the man. He doesn't rest. He wrote so many songs. He's a brilliant musician. He had to keep going. New York, New York, everybody knows that song. That wasn't a hit until when that song came out in 1980, yet it's a big band tune. That's insane to me that people are still doing that. I myself studied jazz in college, so I know I studied a lot of Frank Sinatra. Not many people know he's a very gifted musician. He's a great pianist. If you listen to some uncut recordings, you can hear him playing things about how he wanted it to sound, over the band leader. One of the best recordings I can think of is Live at the Sands in Las Vegas with Count Basie's band. That album is phenomenal. It's a great set, great tunes, great band. The style is just killer. Not necessarily an underrated musician, but people thought of him as just a vocalist, just a performer. He was probably the greatest performer before Elvis and Michael Jackson. but that's really what he's known for, is just being an amazing vocalist. He was self-taught, so there's a lot to be said about that. Anyways, here he is, for all eternity, a very great man. I'm really glad I got to come out and see him.